So the Wolf of Saturn 6 has a huge two-handed hammer that he likes to swing around whenever he decides to grace you with his presence in a mission, whenever he howls and then shows up for you to do battle with. Now, having him spawn in your mission right now is complete RNG, with his drop percentages for those items being pretty low as well, apparently. So you gotta hope he shows up first, then you gotta hope that he drops some of those weapon parts or the blueprint, and then you're gonna have to get him to show up a few more times in order to eventually build the goddamn hammer. However, Steve did confirm on Twitter yesterday that as the Wolf of Saturn 6 Nightwave goes on, over time the Wolf himself will spawn more often in missions, therefore increasing your chances of eventually being able to build his weapon. And who knows, maybe someday we might even get the chance to summon him into missions, kind of like you do with the Stalker's beacons, but that's kind of me just hoping that happens. Now, I've only managed to fight the Wolf once in about 150 missions, and I didn't have my recording software turned on at the time, but having him spawn in 150 missions is absolutely terrible RNG from me, but he is tanky as all hell when he does show up, and he is a little bit harder, I guess, than what Stalker and some of the others are when it comes to actually trying to kill the fucker. Now, killing the Wolf has got a chance, like I said, for him to drop some of those hammer parts, which will allow you to eventually build it for yourself. But the dying question on everyone's lips, I guess, is the weapon even worth it, considering the amount of RNG behind it all, or especially if you're going to spend some of the insane amounts of platinum on offer right now in trade chat for some of those parts. Like, I think the blueprint is going for over 1,000 platinum, as well as the motor as well, since they are the rarest of drops right now. I think the head is the common part. So you're going to need the hammer's motor, the handle, the head, the blueprint, and 5 Nithin, as well as a bundle of credits for when you want to build it. And it means you're going to have to hope that he shows up more than 4 times because of those low drop chances, so good luck with that. Now, to make a long story short, this hammer, I guess, is a side grade or a very slight upgrade to the Jatka tag, which we have already, except it doesn't have the augment that the Jatka tag has for exploding enemies and causing those chain explosions, the Vulcan Blitz augment. But the Wolf's Sledge hammer, however, does have its very own gimmick, which is the ability to throw it at enemies with a charged attack, similar to how you throw a glaive in weapon, and the hammer will of course come straight back to you. Now, for the amount of grind needed for all of the parts, the RNG, I think its damage model could be a little bit higher than what it is right now. But maybe with the Melee 2.9 changes coming in a week or two's time, it will change how this hammer performs, and maybe it could be a much better weapon when that update drops. Now, throwing the hammer seems to only hit one target at a time. I haven't been lucky enough to see it go through targets and take out more than one at a time, and right now it seems to be a little bit glitched with certain Warframe abilities, like having an enemy put to sleep by Equinox will cause the hammer to kind of bounce off an invisible wall in front of that enemy and then return to you. So it does need a little bit of patching as well. Now, the hammer itself deals a decent amount of slash and impact damage, and as you know, slash is king, especially having high amounts of bleed procs on an enemy if you hit them hard enough. It has a 33% status chance. It kind of feels like he attacked me with these stats by putting that number on so many bloody weapons. It is better than the Jatka tag when it comes to status and crit chance as well. It has an okay amount of crit, which will allow you to have a hybrid condition overload blood rush build if you wanted to go down that road, or you could just mod it for 100% status chance and build it with condition overload in mind. Entirely up to you. 3 of the dual stat mods, and I think Drifting Contact will give you that 100% status chance. The hammer's range or reach on the Wolf's Sledge is pretty low as well, so if you're not comfortable with having a low range weapon, you need to be basically toe to toe with those enemies. You might want to mod it for reach, again up to you. So that's pretty much the Wolf's Sledge hammer. It's condition overload viable, which means it's going to kill almost anything that you put in front of it once you get a good chain going. With melee 2.9 coming in a few weeks time, whenever that does eventually drop, it could change how this weapon performs completely and make it a much better weapon than what it is now. But it is a little bit of, like I said, a side grade or a slight upgrade to what the Jatka tag is right now, and I know a lot of players love the Jatka tag, especially because of how damn good Vulcan Blitz is on that weapon. But let me know in the comment section below what you think of this weapon's stats, considering I'd imagine a lot of you don't have it built right now, or if you're interested in getting your hands on it as soon as possible, or if you're willing to wait for the Wolf himself to spawn more in missions and get it at your own speed. Because once those parts become more common, then of course the price for them in trade chat is going to plummet as well. Now the best thing I would say is probably to wait for the Wolf's spawn rate to increase over the course of the Saturn 6 event, for those prices to come down as well, in case you need one or two parts that you haven't had any luck with dropping. So do me a huge favour and hit that like button if you enjoyed the video, or don't if you didn't. Subscribe for more Warframe, and as always, thanks very much for watching.